Thanks, Jane. Welcome to BBC London. Good to be with you. Coming up on the programme, a special report on concerns around faulty windows. Families in the capital tell us why they fear for their children's safety. Also ahead tonight, with hotter temperatures becoming more frequent, what can London learn from our European neighbours?
It's currently 34 degrees here. Is shade and trees are a lot more prevalent, and they are factored in to the design of their cities.
Plus, could toothpaste made from sheep's wool be the future for healthy teeth? We'll explain.
And join me in a 2,000-year-old square in the City of London where they're doing something a bit different tonight, and I'll tell you how you can get involved with this as well.
Good evening to you. We start tonight with serious concerns around faulty windows when it comes to children's safety. Across the country, 13 children have died after falling from windows in the last 6 years, including some in London tower blocks. England's housing watchdog says its own findings show it's alarming the way in which some landlords have handled complaints about windows. Our Work and Money correspondent Megan Owen has this special report.
Frames fixed with duct tape, thick black mould, broken and missing handles in almost every flat we visited. Just some of the widespread window problems we found on this council estate in West London.
A death trap, that's the only way you could describe them.
Tracy has lived here for 5 years and says despite the council repeatedly telling residents they would replace the windows, they're still waiting.
They're totally unfit for purpose. They're unsafe. I'm frightened for my grandchildren when they come round here.
What's your biggest fear with these windows?
Somebody falling out of them, end of. That is it. They're not safe. Somebody falls out of them, they're dead.
So the gentleman living in this flat doesn't want to be on camera, but he did tell me that he'd had to repair this window himself with duct tape to close it shut. And that's because he was worried that his 9-year-old would fall out because there's no handles. He told the council time and time again that it needed fixing, but they just say it's not fixable.
13 children have died in falls from windows in England since 2019, according to a study into fatalities of very young and primary school-aged children. In most of the cases, the children lived in rented or temporary accommodation. In some cases, families had reported broken windows. Exodus Eob was almost 2 when he fell out of a window from the 7th floor of a tower block in Leeds 3 years ago. The restrictor on the window had been disengaged because it was a hot day. The inquest heard his family had complained about how wide the windows could open, but the coroner ruled the death accidental and that the windows were not defective. We've learnt that at Manchester Royal Infirmary, more than double the number of children attended with major trauma from a window fall between April and June this year than in any similar period since 2020.
This year there seemed to be more than usual, which was worrying us. A lot of these families do say to us when they come in that they already knew the window was a problem. They might have a broken window, or it might be that they'd identified that there wasn't a way of locking or securing the window, and they'd already raised that with their landlord or housing association, but action hadn't been taken in a timely way.
England's housing watchdog is calling for landlords to urgently address window safety concerns, comparing the problems to the scale of damp and mould issues in social housing.
I think landlords are ignoring some stark warning signs, and I think that's perilous to do so. I think there's fundamentally this ethical question about, is it right to leave someone with a window in a state of disrepair on the basis of doing works at a later date, even if there may be a lack of certainty about when that may be.
The body that represents housing associations says they're dedicated to making sure all residents are safe in their homes and recognise the importance of secure windows to ensure children's safety. The day after we filmed with Tracy, we contacted Hammersmith and Fulham Council, who sent a team of 20 officers to survey the windows, which found 6 urgent repairs were required. They say they're investing more than £1 million a week to refurbish and repair their ageing housing stock, part of a bold 3-year strategy that includes replacing every window that's reached the end of its life. Adding the funding reflects their commitment to improving the quality of life of their tenants and leaseholders, ensuring every home is safe, secure and fit for the future. And as a responsible landlord, they're not just meeting the Housing Ombudsman's window safety standards, they're exceeding them. As the government consults on how to make windows safer, the deaths of 13 children from falls, a reminder of their perils.
And Megan's here now. What kind of response has there been to this?
Well, Hammersmith and Fulham Council did decline an interview when we asked, but they wanted to stress that none of the deaths mentioned in that report happened on the estate that we visited. We also contacted the government and they said no child's life should be at risk because of poor quality housing, and we are determined to prevent future tragedies. Now, they are looking at how to ensure that all rented homes in England have child-resistant restrictors on any windows that may present a full risk. They're also looking to change regulations. So at the moment, windows in flats only have to be replaced if they've fallen into a state of disrepair and are over 30 years old. They want to change this. So if they've fallen into disrepair, they should be replaced irrespective of their age.
And we heard from England's housing watchdog in your report. How seriously are window complaints being taken?
Well, to put this all in perspective, the watchdog told us that they are comparing the scale of window safety defects to that of social housing problems with kind of damp and mould, which we've covered time and time again on our programme. But window problems don't seem to have made the headlines as much. Now, they also noted that there's a real pressure point in London. The rate of complaints in the city is disproportionate to the number of homes which can complain about windows. The Ombudsman said that this is systematic of the housing crisis in the country, which is particularly acute in London. And window safety is something that we're hearing about more and more from people who write into us, from various lawyers. So we could be seeing an increasing focus now shifting to window safety, Riz.
OK, Megan, thanks very much for that special report. Appreciate it. Megan Owen there. Next, this summer, we've already seen several spells of temperatures into the 30s, and heat waves are expected to become more common with our changing climate. It means London will need to adapt to hotter weather. We know that other cities in the world are already used to living with the heat, so what can our capital learn from them? BBC London's environment correspondent Tom Edwards has been finding out.
More extreme heat in London, and with climate change, heat waves and higher temperatures are going to become more common. Experts say this is the new normal.
Summer is going to feel longer, and we're looking in some places at heat waves of 40, 45 degrees, almost 50 degrees temperature, probably more than that in the next 20 years. And we're looking at that being completely normal, by the end of the century if we don't act on climate change right now.
Southern Europe is used to high temperatures. Shuttered homes here keeps the heat out. So could London learn from what they do here? What you notice when you come to places like Portugal, it's currently 34 degrees here, is shade and trees are a lot more prevalent, and they are factored in to the design of their cities. This is Seville in Spain, also known as being in the Iberian oven, and it regularly has temperatures over 40 degrees. And here they're having to take extra measures to deal with the extreme heat. Here they name heat waves to raise awareness. Shade is a necessity. Awnings are draped across busy shopping streets. Cafes have water misters so customers can keep cool. And the locals don't tend to go out when the heat is at its peak.
Heat is called the silent killer, and that is because of a couple of factors. One is the low awareness of the risks of high ambient temperature. The numbers of people who die needlessly in heat waves is quite high. In fact, almost all deaths in a heat wave are potentially preventable.
Experts say London needs a change in attitude to extreme heat, and we can learn from hotter parts of the world.
In some hottest hours of a day, they pause some of the activities and then they resume it in the evening. Or when you walk into a street during the day, when sun is out, they never open the windows. Windows are shut, curtains are shut, so they don't invite more heat to their home. And they use night for ventilation. So these simple changing behavior, changing routine can reduce the impact of it. This is how we can learn from these countries.
Since the 40 degrees of 2022, City Hall says the capital is getting better at preparing for extreme heat.
First thing we're doing is we published a cool spaces map to make sure that we're signposting residents to cool spaces like community centres, libraries, places where they can go to get shade and make sure that they're remaining cool. The second thing that we're doing is making sure that we've got much more water refill points, so over 4,000 across the city, over 100 water fountains, making sure Londoners are staying hydrated. Our tree planting programme, especially on our streets to help create that shade, the mayor's planted over 600,000 trees across the city since 2016.
London will have to get used to the new normal, and that will mean changes in how we deal with it and our attitudes to extreme heat. Tom Edwards, BBC London.
Well, there may have been a spot of rain this evening where you are, but it's still warm out there. And yesterday's temperatures topped 30 degrees, prompting both an air pollution and heat health alert. As it gets hotter again over the next couple of days, people often head towards water to cool off. Let's join Alice Bandukravi, who's by the river in southwest London, for us this evening. Hi, Alice.
Hi, Riz. You wouldn't necessarily know it from the weather this evening, but this is a very busy place on a hot summer's evening, and you can see why. It's very attractive and the weather has been very hot. So people do tend to head to the Thames, but there are dangers, hidden dangers in the water that Matt Allchurch can tell us about. You're a busy lifeboat station here in Teddington. You get called out more than 100 times a year. Why is it so popular, this stretch of water, and what are the hidden perils?
Well, you can see it's a very beautiful bit of river. It's high tide at the moment, but when the tide is out, there are beaches that are uncovered all along the opposite side of the bank, in amongst the trees there. So it's a lovely place for the kids to come to when it's hot. And to be honest with you, it's perfectly safe if they stay in the shallows, close to the beach. But very often they are tempted to swim across the river and back again, and that's usually when they get in trouble.
And so what happens? What is the problem with swimming across, especially if some of them might feel that they're strong swimmers?
Well, the top of the river is warmer, underneath it's colder, and you can get what's called cold water shock, which is where all the blood goes into your core, so it comes out of your arms and your legs, and you lose the ability to swim. And very often it's on the way back to the beach that they get in trouble. And very sadly, we've lost young people who are good swimmers, but they get cold water shock.
And does it tend to be young people taking these kinds of risks?
It's very often teenagers, and they come to the river en masse. To a certain extent, it's a rite of passage, and they dare each other to do things, jumping off structures.
And so what is your advice to people watching, either those who might be tempted to get in the water or people who see people in trouble in the water? What's the best thing for them to do?
So dial 999, ask for the Coast Guard, or at least tell the emergency services that someone's in trouble on the water. Try and get a throw line. So
one there, yeah.
There are boards all along the river provided by the local council with these throw lines in, and you can use these to throw to someone who's in trouble, and then you can pull them in. But make sure you dial 999 first, keep an eye on them, and tell the emergency services the location.
Valuable information. Matt Allchurch, thank you so much, and particularly useful information given that we know that the weather is going to be heating up over the next few days. Riz.
Alice, thank you. And on that note, of course, as Alice said, that we'll bring you a full forecast later on, and you can see much more on London's heat resilience on our website. Just head to the address there, bbc.co.uk/London, or use the BBC News app. A quick look now at some of the day's other news stories. An anti-clockwise section of the M25 between junction 31 and 29 has been shut this afternoon after a lorry caught fire. It's not expected to open until late into this evening. Caravans at a council-run traveller site that was severely damaged by fire were situated too close together, according to evidence seen by the BBC. 15 of the 18 plots at the Vermeadows site in Redbourne were destroyed last month. No one was hurt in the fire, but several dogs died. And baggage handlers at Gatwick Airport, who are members of the Unite Union, have announced strike action in a dispute over pay. Planned walkouts are over the bank holiday weekend and then again from August the 29th. It's a big day tomorrow with A-level and T-level results coming out, and it can be a nervous time for many young Londoners and parents alike. So what happens if your grades aren't quite what you'd hoped for, or you do better than expected? Well, we can ask careers advisor Gina Visram, who is here to guide us through. It's really good to have you with us. So this is about preparation, if you like, for tomorrow. So shall we start with grades that are lower than expected? What are the options? What do people need to be prepared for if that happens tomorrow?
Well, at this stage, it's all about thinking, what are the different scenarios? So you're not going to manifest badly at this point. Your grades are your grades and they're decided. So it's really worth thinking about, well, what are some of the other universities that I was interested in? Where around the UK might I want to live? I mean, of course, it would be great if everybody got into their first choice university. We know that that doesn't happen. So it's about really being ready to think about what are some of the options. And actually, it could be worth thinking about that tonight. Thinking about, okay, so where are some of the other places I can see myself? Because that will put you in a good position to take some decisive action tomorrow if needed.
And we know not everyone is thinking about university, even if they're taking A-levels, but of course T-level results also out tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the really exciting things at the moment is the varied pathways that are available. So of course there are traditional university routes, there are university routes where you're doing a placement year. There are lots of options, and apprenticeships and degree apprenticeships. So it's really all about expanding our definition of what being successful is. And if you can expand that definition, you will absolutely find your route, regardless of what your results are tomorrow.
Some optimism there, which we like. And what about if, fortunately, your grades are even higher than you expected?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, that same piece of advice of just imagining where you can see yourself. If you were to get higher grades than you anticipated, what's that university that you would have wanted to go to? What's that job you would have wanted to apply for? And ultimately, what would really help today is to be ready to pick up the phone tomorrow. Because whether your grades are higher or whether they're lower, there's a real chance that you might need to pick up the phone to a university and give them a call.
So in that respect, what resources or helplines should people have sort of ready on the day itself tomorrow?
So one of the things I want to assure everybody is that your schools and your colleges are there on hand to support you. So please don't think you're in isolation. Ultimately, they will support you to go online, to look at the options for adjustment if your grades are better, clearing if your grades aren't quite what you wanted them to be. And you can put in some phone calls with support. Universities aren't going to want to hear from mum or dad. They're going to want to hear from you. So they can be ready in that respect.
Good point. And just briefly before we go, as a careers advisor, what's the one piece of advice that you would give to every student opening their results tomorrow?
I would let every student know that they are enough just as they are. And that's even if their grades aren't currently reflecting their potential. So we all have squiggly careers. That is a really useful phrase to remember, thanks to the book. And so whatever route it is that you take, it can be a really positive one for you. And you will probably look back on this moment and be like, it happened as it was meant to, regardless of what the emotions are on the day. Okay. Wishing everybody good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. To all students tomorrow, and parents and guardians should remember that as well. Gina Visram, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
OK, these are words I never thought I'd say, but could toothpaste made from sheep's wool be the future? Yes, you heard right, because researchers at King's College London think so. They found that keratin, a protein found in hair, skin and wool, can repair tooth enamel and stop early stages of decay. Not convinced yet? Here's Anna O'Neill with more.
The mouth is the gate of the body, so we really need to have a strong gate.
The mouth may be the gateway to the rest of the body, but people don't always keep their gates well maintained, and it's the same with their teeth and the enamel that protects them.
The tooth enamel is the cover of the teeth, is the strongest material in our body, and you can get a lot of challenges from food, from acids, from decay, and decay affects like half of the population of the globe. Problem with enamel, once you lose that tissue, it doesn't grow back.
Here at King's College London's Research Centre at Guy's Hospital, Dr Sharif Al-Sharkawi has come up with an innovative and cheap solution, keratin from wool, which when it comes into contact with the mouth's saliva, seems to bond with it and form an enamel replacement.
So we got this loads of keratin from sheep wool, we got it from Scotland, and we then extract the core protein of this, which is the keratin, and we get it in a form that we can be using as a water-based material. And then once we process the keratin from the sheep wool, you got this plenty of water-soluble keratin. It's like cotton candy that we use, and this is the building block of our material.
These are the teeth that the tooth fairy would definitely leave behind. But if you're not brushing your teeth properly with the right toothpaste in the right way, then you might end up with a mouth a bit like this.
This model mouth, along with donated teeth in varying stages of decay, helped Dr Al-Sharkawi's students research what happens when decay sets in.
If you have an oral health problems, that would be linked to cardiac disease, cardiovascular disease, and Alzheimer's disease. So, as we know, we'd like to get a strong gate, which is the teeth.
The woolly toothpaste won't be available for at least a couple of years, but when it is, it could be the biggest breakthrough in tooth protection in decades.
This is something that we believe it can not just prevent damage that can happen, it actually can recreate. Currently, there is no solution that does this with teeth, and this is the start. And we'd like to move that in multiple areas as well in regenerative medicine.
And that is definitely something to smile about. Anna O'Neill, BBC London.
OK, let's take you to the heart of London's financial district now, which has been playing ball, quite literally, because Guildhall Yard, better known for its ceremony and traditions, has swapped history for hoops. Let's join Assad, who's there now and can explain all. Assad.
Yeah, Riz, look at this. I'm in the 2,000-year-old Guildhall Yard, and yet it's a basketball court. It's here until Friday, and it's here to promote the sport. Anyone can give it a go. Standard basketball, wheelchair basketball. You can come along here and try it. Now, these are the London Titans who are just having a bit of a show match. I'm going to try and get Matt Seeley there, who was in London 2012. He's got the ball. Now, let's see if I can call out. Matt! Matt! I don't know whether you can hear me. Can we get Matt? Come here, Matt. This is live TV for you. Matt Seeley, come on, you're from London 2012. We've recognised you. You play a terrific game. You've played in some of the best stadiums in the world. What's it like playing here?
Absolutely phenomenal. What a focal point for wheelchair basketball to be playing at the Guildhall Yard. So, yeah, absolutely thrilled to be here.
And I know earlier today you were playing with kids, getting them into the sport, and there's a ball coming here, getting them into the sport. You want to encourage the next generation, don't you?
100%. All wheelchair basketball clubs aspire to get younger players into the sport. Us at London Titans, we're building a great junior programme along with the development programme. Obviously, doing stuff with WizKids here is a really big part of our wheelchair basketball sport, getting new kids to try it out and hopefully have a future.
Yeah, and it really does look exciting. I'll let you get back to the game. I'm going to call Amy Jobson, and Amy was playing in the Paralympics last year in Paris. Let me see, let's see if she gets in. Right, Amy, can I drag you away? I'm sorry, I'm spoiling all your games. I don't look at you. Listen, no disrespect to the guys, but you are just a cut above.
Sorry?
You are a cut above, no disrespect.
Oh, I don't know what that means, but thank you, I'll take it. Such a fun game.
And tell me, how did you get into wheelchair basketball?
So I was always sporty, back in the old two-leg days. Got cancer as a kid. Had already lost my mum to cancer, so I thought, oh, cripes, this is going to be it. Yeah, lost my leg after a sticky year in hospital. Really shy, self-conscious, and I saw the game on TV. I saw the national women's team playing and just thought, they're incredible, I want to be that.
And
I was nothing like that at the time, but a lot of training.
And now you are doing it for others and inspiring a whole new generation. I will leave you to it. Good luck with that. Let me speak to Nadia, one of the organisers. Nadia, terrific what's going on here, and it's bringing people together, isn't it, in the city?
Exactly that. Sport is such a powerful tool for bringing people together, and that's exactly what we're doing. And especially in the Culture Mile, and we're working hard with the Culture Mile team in the basketball and football to make it so accessible. We had blind football last week, we've got wheelchair basketball this week, and it's just incredible to see corporates, all walks of life.
And it looks brilliant, and if you want to get involved, like I say, you don't have to be a wheelchair user to play. In fact, hold on one second. Nicole, you're not a wheelchair user, you play wheelchair basketball, you got into it at UCL. What's it like? Why would you recommend it?
Yeah, I think it's amazing, and I've been playing for 3 years, and I think everyone should give it a try and fall in love with the sport just like I did.
There you go, somebody who doesn't use a wheelchair is trying wheelchair basketball. You've got until Friday to try it. Riz.
Heckling from the sidelines, I love it. Thanks, Asad. And the weather has been a big talking point, hasn't it? Let's see how it's looking for the next few days with Darren. Hi there.
Hello there, Riz. Well, it wasn't as hot today. I'll show you the picture across London that was taken by a weather watcher mid-afternoon. We had cloud. We actually had some rain for a short while and some thunder and lightning, but that cloud is going to be moving away. Sunshine is going to return tomorrow. Temperatures are going to be higher tomorrow. It's going to be very warm, if not hot. Now, this was the radar picture earlier on. Those thunderstorms did move away. There's still some rain just to the east of London. That's where it's going to stay for the next couple of hours or so before moving away later on this evening. So a dry night to come tonight. There will be some clear spells, just a bit of patchy cloud, still muggy air, mind you, even though temperatures were not as high today. And it will be quite an uncomfortable night for sleeping once again. Minimums 14, 15 degrees. And those temperatures will rise very quickly tomorrow in the strong sunshine, and there'll be much more sunshine than we had today. Just a bit of patchy cloud here and there. It looks like it's going to be a dry day. Today we got temperatures in central London around 26 degrees. Tomorrow we're looking at temperatures back up to around 29 Celsius. So it's going to feel pretty hot and humid out there once again, but it's dry. We've got high pressure building actually across much of the UK. That's going to keep things fine and dry. And if we look ahead to Friday, well, spot the cloud. There really isn't much of that at all. It's going to be strong sunshine, high UV levels, another hot day with temperatures rising very quickly up to 30 or 31 Celsius. After that, though, things are going to change because the high pressure is going to be centred across northern Scotland. It's going to bring with it a breeze coming in off the North Sea, and occasionally that will bring some cloud our way as well over the weekend. It's still looking dry, but temperatures will be a more comfortable 25, 26 degrees. Still warm, though, into next week, and for the most part, it's looking dry and sunny. Riz.
OK, Darren, thanks very much for that. And that is where we leave you. More on our website, including, as Darren said, hotter temperatures becoming more frequent. Does London need to change its attitude to heat? It's also on BBC Sounds. Just search London Latest. From me and the team, thanks for watching and enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.